Happy Halloween! Nope, not a haunted house, just California. Northern California is slated for another round of mass blackouts as the Pacific Gas and Electric Company, or PG&E, has said they'll turn off power to millions of people every single time bad weather rolls through so their crappy antique power lines don't get snapped and start another wildfire. Because apparently the only way to keep half of this state from burning to the ground is to turn it into Little House on the Frickin Prairie. Now, the company said that these scheduled blackouts could continue for up to a decade. So hey, want to bake some lasagna? Take a shower, not die of hypothermia? Well, can't, sorry, no power. And that's not even a joke. 67-year-old Robert Martis died roughly 12 minutes after PG&E cut power to his home earlier this month because his oxygen machine shut off and he couldn't reach his battery-powered unit in time. Now, for its part, PG&E has made a complete and total mess out of this whole thing. Web host Dave Rubin pointed out, and was of course slammed for it, that PG&E has no detailed records of how old their power lines are or whether they're in good working condition. But they sure as heck can tell you exactly how many of their employees are women, or Hawaiian Islander, or identify as a zucchini on Tuesdays.
Or imagine if your house was on fire. Would you care what the public utility or what the fire company, what contractor they brought in, what gender or sexuality or any of those things he or she was? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Who would care?
And
they can't keep your power on, but they do know whether the person who shut it off is gay or straight. Hope that keeps your milk cold. Now, the federal government has got a role in all of this too. You remember how they like to take over land and label it a national park? See, they're really good at confiscating things, not so much at maintaining them. In a 2006 report, the Western Governors Association warned that over time, the fire-prone forests that were not thinned burn in uncharacteristically destructive wildfires. You think? So you think the government thinned the forest? No. Over half of California's forests are on federal land, which are now chock full of dry brush that are pretty much acting as one giant tinderbox the minute that a grasshopper rubs his legs together. Now, the Trump administration's efforts to streamline the removal of all this junk has met resistance from environmental groups who are more worried about the woodpeckers and the spotted deer and the fairy sprites. So that effort, of course, died in Congress. So now where is the state in all of this? Well, for one, it's absolutely bungled its part of the wildland management system, and while homes are burning and power's being shut off and old men are dying because they can't use their medical equipment, California is busy threatening people with jail time for not using the right gender pronoun, telling freelance journalists how many articles they're allowed to write per year, and passing laws allowing illegal aliens to serve on state boards and commissions. They will draft entire bills mandating that restaurants only offer children milk and water on their menus. Meanwhile, the whole northern part of the state gets to choose between going up in flames or living like it's 1850. And in response to their own abject failures, Congress and California and PG&E and all of the crazy liberals who run all of this junk just blame climate change because apparently, if you scream something loud enough times, the lemmings will start to believe you. As if forest fires haven't happened for eons and we haven't figured out how we might avoid them. Now, there are plenty of things that we could be doing to prevent half of this state from catching on fire and threatening people's lives without turning off their power and, threatening their lives. Not letting forests become giant matchboxes would be a start. Requiring companies to have good working equipment and not just a diverse workforce would be another. But just like nearly every idea that seems to make a lick of good sense, liberal policies always get in the way. Now, you might say, well, Brittany, this situation is so much more complicated than that. You're oversimplifying things. There's the money, and the problem is so big, and the blah, 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 blah. Look, California thought it was worth their time to fine waiters for handing out plastic straws. And the federal government just forked over $480 million to Sri Lanka to improve their infrastructure and traffic management. So don't tell me that we cannot figure out how to keep our own house from burning down without blacking out half a state. But I guess in the meantime, Northern California will just have to figure out how to live without running water and refrigeration. But hey, at least the pygmy owls are protected, and we know how many gay people are running the power lines. And that's your Reality Check, America. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and stay sane out there.